Morning, good afternoon to whoever you are around the world. Good to be here with the ICE virtual VIPoE conference. This is John Lohr from Hosco, the Hospitality Network, here for you to discuss the new partnership with Lobster Ink, with Hosco, and with the ICE. I'm going to give you just a brief kind of overview on why we did this partnership together with the ICE, the benefits you're clearly going to have from the partnership, general info about Hosco in case you're not aware, and then a bit about our new relationship with Lobster Ink, the premier provider of online industry training to the hospitality companies of the world. So I'm going to first give you a bit of a shared presentation, so you should be able to see my presentation and myself talking on the side. But as we go through those points, please jot down any questions you have. You can put that in the chat box. Jane will keep track, and then we can go through your questions at the end because it's a bit of information to get through, but those core areas we definitely might want to discuss in the future. So without further ado, let me share my screen and we'll get started. So, and Jane, jump in here in case you can't see my screen. Just let me know it's all going well.
All going well.
All going well. Okay. So, like I said, John Lohr, Director of Development for Hosco, the Hospitality Network, and now we have a partnership with the ICE. Now, this didn't come right away. I've actually known the ICE for probably over 5 years, my entire time as Director of Development at Hosco. But I think right now we found the right fit and the right benefit to the members. So this relationship started when Craig and I had a conversation almost about 2 years back talking about what do the schools of the ICE need and where is hospitality education going in the future. And we kind of came to this conclusion that academia is important, but a focus on careers and a focus on employability will be driving the hotel schools of the future. And when we looked at Hosco, we knew that we had over 1.5 million members, and we knew essentially where those members are going, their locations, their employers, etc. So we said, let's find a way to give that data back to the ICE, and let's use this benchmark that the iGraduate has created of providing these time series reports and also these comparisons of one school to another to make sure that the schools can basically share best practices and also grow in their focus on employability in the industry. So after a bit of negotiation back and forth, that's what we decided then to do. So I'm going to outline that relationship, what you get out of it. I'm going to share with you the other elements of Hosco which you might be interested in, and then we'll talk a bit about Lobster Ink. So just a bit about Hosco in case you're not aware. We are the world's largest hospitality network. We have 1.5 million activated profiles. Now, if you were a student, an alumni, or professional, the reason you're joining Hosco is to really find a job in the industry and to find everything else that will help you succeed. Find a connection, find a job, find advice, and find learning. And for that, our message has very much resonated with those members. We have 600,000 visits per month. We're the most visited hospitality-specific network in the world. And of course, before COVID-19, we had a very active growing audience. We are still growing, but not at the rate that we were. Now, in this ecosystem, there are schools, and to be exact, there are 400 world-class institutions who are partnering with us. And they're doing so to internationalize their programs, to increase student satisfaction, and in some cases, to adopt our career and alumni solutions. But by far, the driving power of Hosco are the companies. And so there are 7,000 plus employers who are registered on Hosco. And they're doing that to attract and hire the best international talents in the most efficient way. But once again, we of course know due to COVID-19, their activity isn't as high on the platform as normal. However, what our data has shown is that when this is showing signs of recovery, they will need us and they'll need you as hospitality education providers more than ever. So our employers are basically on a standby basis, but when we see the glimmer of hope, they're ready to post jobs and they're ready to hire talents. And of course, we all know that due to the incredible and unfortunate firings and furloughs that have happened in the industry, there will be a massive ramp up required to get back to the levels we were at pre-COVID-19. So now look at the ICE and Hosco. So I took this directly from Craig's announcement, so I want to make it clear and correct. So we partnered with, the ICE has partnered with Hosco to collect and provide accurate data related to alumni employability for the ICE global network of member institutions. The inputs gathered will enable you as partners of the ICE to monitor your alumni placement in a great deal of effectiveness and a great deal of detail. You'll be able to track your graduates' career development. You'll be able to benchmark their employability practices against other ICE institutions. You'll be able to collect critical information about your students and alumni status to further improve your hospitality programs and your employment offers. And you'll receive time series data reports to monitor and benchmark their placement activities to keep improving, of course, your strategies. So this business alliance we have between the ICE and Hosco enables the members of the ICE to validate their quality through detailing the opportunities and career paths your programs will lead to. And so this information will help you more effectively position yourselves in the increasingly competitive higher education landscape. That's the official message, but what does that mean, of course? So first, let me give you kind of an overview of Hosco and the ICE. There are a good number of ICE member institutes who are already partners of Hosco, and they're partnering with us at different levels of membership and or subscriptions. And I'll go through those levels throughout this presentation, but they just give you a general feel. There are current Hosco partners who are using us to build a community and to share international jobs with the schools. Those are Blue Mountains, Duzetani, William Blue, Saxion, Breda, Hotel School The Hague, and Maastricht. There are also schools who have adopted our platform solutions to track their alumni, to manage their careers, and to collect alumni data. And I'll show you in a moment that the alumni data collected by those schools is a little different than the alumni data we're going to provide through the ICE. And those primarily make up of the Swiss Education Group schools, NKUT in Taiwan, Derby, and the Emirates Academy. And of course, there are some schools who haven't yet joined Hosco. I believe most of them I know, but through this opportunity, they might find ways to look at membership with Hosco. And you see the members here: MCI, SIT, Vistula, LPU, USP, William Inglis, etc. So let's get to the reports. The alumni data reports, the objective. We're going to develop a standardized alumni employee report capability for the ICE and its accredited members, which will automatically generate a set of critical related data points. So if you look at the Hosco network, every member has a profile, right? As I always joke, we're like a LinkedIn for hospitality. And the motivating factor to update those profiles is to find a job, find a connection, or as you'll see in a moment, to find learning and future upskilling opportunities. Now, at every point on Hosco, we have a touch point to require data updates. If you want to apply for a job, you have to update your profile. If you want to apply for a master's, you have to update your profile. And by doing that, we have a regular stream of new data coming in. This is where I say that the alumni groups that schools create and the career platform the school create, they're great for internal purposes. But once that student leaves, they forget it. They forget their passwords, they don't come back, they go to more global networks. And so whereas the LinkedIns and the Facebooks are quite generic, we're more specific. And we believe that that specificity drives the interest of our members to engage in Hosco. And that engagement creates data. And that data is what we want to share with you. So we know on a Hosco profile, there's a member status, there's the school they went to, there's a nationality, there's a current location, there's a graduation date, there's a current position, that's when they started the position. We know the job title, the department, the job location, the company, the international location, and the last profile update. So those are pieces which are part of the template of the Hosco profile. You'll notice something of wage is not in there. That's not something we ask a member to update, and therefore that's not a data point we can give the ICE. So in this discussion Craig and I had back and forth, we had to make sure that the data we provide is data that's already captured through the template of the network. So we're looking at two report types. One, an individual school report. And what we're going to do is create some various graphs and statistics to include certain points. One, the percentage of respondents employed. A critical KPI for your school should be, did my alumni get a job after graduation? Without question. Then we're going to look at the percentage of respondents in each sector. Are they in hospitality? Are they in food and beverage? Are they in events? Or are they even outside the industry? Then we're going to look at the percentage of respondents with international versus national employment. If you're a school like NKUT in Taiwan, we'll be able to say, okay, your alumni are in Taiwan or they're outside of Taiwan. Outside then being counted as an international employment. And once again, I think that's very important to know from a marketing standpoint and a strategy standpoint. Come to us, have an international career, here's proof. Yeah. So the raw data exports in Excel formats will also be available to the schools. But as you'll see in a moment, we will be redacting certain information. Because until a school is an official Hosco partner, we cannot share emails or names or phone numbers, because that is GDPR compliance data, which a member agrees to and which a school agrees to when they become official partner. But still, that said, the trends we can share through the ICE relationship. And again, I'll show you how the difference works out in a moment. So that's the individual school reporting. On the aggregate level, and this is where, again, I really love the ICE concept, we're going to help with this benchmarking. So we'll give a comparative analysis for all the ICE schools based on the key factors provided by schools and derived from our Hosco data. We'll look at a time series reports of the key data points presented in white paper format, and we'll look at performance. We'll analyze each school's engagement related to presenting Hosco, the registration of members, and of course, encouraging alumni participation. Now, this is a work in progress. We started the partnership about 2 months ago, and the first step of the partnership is to create the report. But we do have some templates, so I can give you an idea of how that report might look. So on the Hosco side, we already know when a member joins a school community. So you see here, monthly evolution of total members could be shared. Active members, that's a certain algorithm we calculated how often they come back to the platform. We have the top locations of the members, Spain, United Kingdom, France, Germany, etc. So these are the kind of data that we already give schools. But you'll notice, going back to the list, the details of these we do not. So that's where the uniqueness of the ICE comes in. We are customizing a report, which Hosco hadn't done before, to give uniquely to an ICE school. And they wouldn't get that by being a general Hosco partner. Yeah. Regarding the redacted report, again, this is a direct report that any partner school can generate. And now this is a report that even if a school isn't a partner, they can have. But once again, it does require the redacted data because a partnership allows us to then share the school details. Yeah. So we know that we have an engaging network concept. We know that now we have the partnership with the ICE. How do we make it work? Really, there isn't a lot required on your end as a partner institution. But the main thing is promotion and registration. So if you look at a general timeline, we're going to help you create an invitation to inform your students about joining Hosco, the international opportunities they'll have, and why it's so important to the school, maybe even mention of the ICE. Yeah. Then, of course, as normal, those members will start creating profiles. They fill out all information, just like registering on LinkedIn. Then once they have filled out their profiles, they will gain access to all of our jobs, all of our connections, and all of our learning. Now, once again, the way it works is that if you are, for example, Maastricht Hotel School in the Netherlands, they're already a Hosco partner, right? So their students can already join, but we'll be having extra efforts given to Maastricht to make sure that we have more alumni participation. Yeah. Now, however, if you are a school who's not a Hosco partner, like say Stenden in the Netherlands, all those students alumni can still join Hosco. Nothing changes with the data we'll be providing based on the ICE relationship. The only difference is the school itself won't have access to the community or any additional pieces unless they themselves want to have a subscription with Hosco. I know that might be a little confusing, and we can go through that after this presentation, but just know that even if you're not a partner, you still get all benefits that we've outlined with the ICE partnership. So what does the member profile look like? You have, again, the about me, job preference, experience, education, contact details, language, personal information, skills, additional CVs they can upload. Standard Hosco template. All the students would create this. Yeah. The job section. We had, before COVID-19, over 40,000 international internships and jobs on Hosco. Unfortunately, due to COVID-19, we're still down to 9,000. But still, 9,000 shows that the industry is still hiring. And what we clearly see in our data is that when a position is on Hosco, it has a very high number of applications. We judge our efficiency to the industry to matched applications. So it's not just grandma and grandpa can apply. You have to have matched certain requirements of the employer. Do you have this much experience? Do you have this education? Can you have these skills? And so our value to employers is those matched applications, which right now are much higher than normal due to many more students and alumni trying to find positions. But go after COVID-19. We're going to be looking at the same situation we had before the pandemic, which was we had more talent, or we had more jobs than we had for talent. There will be a massive demand. And so the need to customize the search experience and to make sure that the right talents can be found by the right employers will be more than ever. Because our general model was if you apply on Indeed or anything else, you have 1,000 people applying, but they're 95% are probably the wrong ones. If you apply on Hosco, they're the right ones. That's the model, and that's why the industry keeps working with us. Yeah. So let's look at the stats. In 2019, we had 11,000 plus internships posted on Hosco, of which there are 257,000 applications and 116,000 matched applications. Again, matching meaning it fit what the employer was looking for. And for full-time jobs, we have 35,000, 1.5 million applications made, and 900,000 matched applications. So we strongly believe this model will come back when the crisis averts. But beyond jobs, we are a network, and in that network, you can find a lot of great advice. And so any of the institutions out there who want to use this advice in your classrooms or your virtual classrooms, it's great material and content to inspire your students and alumni. There's interviews with industry icons. There's articles to equip and train. There's best practice shared by professionals. There's city tours and tips. A lot of it we made ourselves in-house, but some of it we've also sourced from other partners. And finally, there's a course directory. This was my own personal initiative that we started due to the crisis. We realized that online learning and finding learning opportunities was now becoming more and more online than ever before. And so we leveraged our relationships with our partner schools to allow them to participate in a new course directory. That means if you have a bachelor, or you have a master, or even an online course, or a short PGD, etc., you can post it on Hosco. And now for the last 8 months, we've been building up the beta phase to get the volume. Now we have over 500 programs. Now we're going to be pushing that out through various marketing and promotion, which you'll see in a moment. But once again, your students and alumni, even if you're not a partner, they can join to access all of this: jobs, connections, and learning. So how we want to work this out is right now we're doing the official announcement. And after that, I'll be doing the various follow-ups with the individual schools on their specific needs. Then we have the community building aspect. That's where we will be giving virtual presentations to your classrooms. We'll be relying on you as schools to help us arrange those with your various faculty in the areas which fit, which is oftentimes a preparation for employment course or understanding the hospitality industry employment, something to this effect. Then, of course, we have to do our data collection and building of the unique reports. And finally, then in June 2020, we hope to then have this report follow-up and distribution, and probably most distribution coming towards September or October of the following year, once all the alumni have in fact graduated and hopefully found positions. Yeah. So that's the piece on the partnership as a whole. Maybe make a note if you have any questions. You can write it to Jane right now about those specifics, but that'll be my job to help further inform you about those benefits. You'll be getting more information from the ICE itself in that regard. Yeah. Now, other tools and services I want to make you aware of, which you can avail of through Hosco in general as a partner. So, as I mentioned, all your students and alumni can join the platform, but if you yourself want to have access to that community, you can, one, create a school profile. So this is your branding on Hosco. This is so any employer can get to know you. An employer can view your community, and you can also share information about your school. It has about us, social media feeds, the link to the community, photo albums, etc. Then you have managing members. If you want to actually take a micro approach to accepting and rejecting members, or you want to write them directly, these are additional community management tools you can have. You have news notifications. So if you have your own account, when you log in, you'll be able to see who is joining from your community, what position they may have, and that's an easy, quick, daily drip of information to maybe share out to others or to also use for your own alumni data gathering. Yeah, and plus it's a nice way to just have a homepage to find out what's new in the industry. Now, the member map, simple feature which basically extrapolates some of the main locations of your members, not all, of course, too many, but a couple to say, hey, come to us, have a global career, here's proof. This is where our alumni or student are all around the world. And that's simply just taking the data from the profile that the member has created on Hosco. So if you think about the extras, you can have one column is community. Community gives you access to your own students, gives you branding through your school, gives you a nice member map, and gives you a general news feed to keep track of your new members joining. That's community, piece one. Piece two, as some of our schools use, for example, Swiss Education Group, they actually adopted our platform to drive hiring. What I mean hiring is, it doesn't just mean Hosco jobs around the world, it means their own employers. So for example, if there's a Swiss hotel that we don't work with, but Swiss Education Group does, they can simply invite them to share an internship or job into their community on Hosco. And they do that via a very simple portal, as you see here. This is actually the example we do with the Le Cordon Bleu schools around the world. The employer can submit the job, fill out the various criteria, They click submit. The school accepts based on assuming it is one of the employers from the school. That job then becomes available to the students, alumni of the school, but only them. It doesn't go out to the 1.5 million members. It only stays within the space of the school, the private space, as I call it. And we've had a lot of schools do that. The Emirates Academy does this, KDU does this, Battelle Alumni does this, etc. So another nice benefit of that is it helps your own employers get known by your students and alumni. That hotels or that Swiss hotel who doesn't work with Hosco or works with the school can create an employer profile. And that's where they get to show their about us and their past current employees and of course their job offers. So it's a bit of employer branding for your closest partners. Now, but then into the private job space, some schools use it just to share student alumni offers, but some also use it to place. So there are placement functions inside of these private spaces, which actually let you view each student, their names, locations, their needs, and of course their skills, and then see if they match the employers you work with. You can accept them, you can reject them, you can automatically generate CVs, you can send out to the employers and confirm the internship or the job. So again, that is a private career platform which we provide some of our partner schools. Yeah. Now the same thing comes for alumni. I've been a very strict proponent of alumni, and I always say, don't create your own private alumni network because it will be rarely used. It won't have enough jobs, won't have enough news, and won't have enough engagement. And so we just believe in the idea of the hybrid concept of making your alumni network, our alumni network, and combining, again, those private jobs and the public jobs on Hosco, your private members plus all 1.5 million global members to overall create the engagement and long-term give you the alumni data. And that's, again, what we do with some particular partner schools. So column 1 was community. Column 2 is career and alumni solutions. Column 3 is data. So as I mentioned earlier, through the ICE partnership, you will be able to have a report which will show the trends of your alumni. So you will see the locations, you will see the jobs they have, the sectors they're in, but you won't be able to see the names, emails, phone numbers, birth dates, etc. But again, as a different partner, you can. And if you want to use that and then reshare that into your own CRMs and marketing, it's a good way to keep track of the specifics of your alumni. Now, and then through that, we'll also be giving those general activity reports. As I showed you earlier, we'd be sending monthly reports on how many members are joining, how active they are on the platform, and specifically which particular jobs they're applying to. Now, and then for some of the more sophisticated schools, we can actually do API integrations to make sure whatever happens on the alumni profile on Hosco redirects into your data warehouses. So it's all seamless and you can make sure you have those updated pieces of data. Finally, we have marketing admissions. So as I mentioned, we have our new course directory, which allows for any school to post its bachelor's, its master's, or its short courses. And we're now launching the marketing tools for that. So what that means is, for example, if you would want to create a specific targeted CRM message, which we would send out to the email addresses of all our members, then you could say, I want to target this master's in culinary arts to current Hosco members who actually hold a food and beverage or a culinary position. We have that amount of granular data and we can give those targets. Or I have a micro course in revenue management. I want to aim it at students studying revenue management or revenue management professionals. We have over 20,000 on Hosco. So again, that can be a targeted admissions campaign. Now we're very careful about this because we don't want to just bombard our members with information they don't want. So by being able to give that specific audience filter, we can say, look, you studied this, you're working in this, we honestly believe this could be useful for you. And in the future, we want to add functions where the member themselves will say, I am looking for a master's, I am looking for a short course. And then we can target these to even a further degree of efficiency. And then within that, we also then will have a lead generator. So if you do a marketing campaign, you of course want to know the results. So we'll be able to then have a school go in, actually see the students interested in their program and export the emails of those students, again, to put back into your CRM for further follow-up. Content co-creation is also a piece we're looking at. Within the advice section, again, we have lots of videos and articles, but we also know a lot of schools are creating their own, especially in the COVID-19 environment. So we can look at co-creation and a bit of co-branding in the content that would show up in Hosco. And that'd be then visible to all members too. Finally, normally we'd be having an unbelievable summit in Barcelona where we invite all of our partners, keynote speakers to have a really good time, share best practices, data, etc. But we of course had to cancel this year. We hope that that will happen next year, again in Barcelona, happens around June. But until then, we have to have a wait and see policy. But if you can attend, you'll be sure to know that there are going to be hiring managers of some of the best brands, career and alumni and deans from some of the best schools, and of course, you're gonna have a very good time in Barcelona. Now, so why would a school actually join Hosco and become a partner? It's to build your community, it's to grow your opportunities, to manage your own careers, manage your alumni, collect more data, and also maybe boost your admissions into your programs. This is a large sheet. I know you don't have time to look at it, but I can have the ICE share this later on so you understand the specifics of the additional Hosco partnerships. But just remember, here, you don't have to be a partner to have all of your students and alumni join Hosco, for them to have access to all of our jobs, connections, and learning, and for you to receive the data reports which we've agreed to provide through the partnership through the ICE. Yeah, that's a lot of information. I'm going to briefly show you Lobster Ink, and then we're going to go to Q&A. So, Lobster Ink and Hosco. Why are we doing this? We're doing this to make the online learning of the hospitality industry available to your schools. If you don't know Lobster Ink, they are the leading provider of online industry learning content for the biggest brands of the world. Hilton's, Marriott's, Hyatt's, Accor, Kempinski, Mandarin Oriental, etc. Before Hosco came into the picture, this was only visible to employees of hotels. They used it to, of course, train their staff, but this isn't just about video training. It's also about behavior modification. And critically, on the industry side, it's about data and learning understanding. Because Lobster Ink doesn't just make videos, they have an entire LMS. So to a granular detail, they know exactly how their learners learn. And for me, I find this fascinating because I used to work for the American Hotel Lodging Educational Institute. Great institution. I have all their books behind me, but the book doesn't show you how a learner learns. This will. And so I think it's a bit of an even game changer, which can bring actual practical training into the classrooms. It can, quote, bridge the gap, as we always discussed, in industry and academia, and it can give a unique element and view in how the students are truly learning and help the schools further kind of prescribe the direction they should go in based on their interests and their aptitudes. Yeah. So what is Lobster Ink? It's 180 plus online courses. It has 1,570 micro lessons within those online courses. And overall, it's 200 plus hours of learning. And again, this is created in partnership with leading subject matter experts. It has 8 categories of learning covering all areas of hospitality from line level to management. It focuses on practical skills, knowledge, behavior training, and it's available in multiple languages. And it is offering industry accredited courses really adopted by some of the major brands. Yeah. And so, as you would expect, it covers all the core areas: bar and beverage, hospitality standards, hospitality management, events, front office, food service, information security, among others. But again, how they did this is very, very unique. They worked on balancing cognitive load, storytelling, micro learning, operational support. It certainly is not just a video and a guy talking with a PowerPoint behind them. This is very high level learning. So when a learner learns from Lobster Ink, they're going to be having certain hotspots or simulations or processing recipes or using visual choice to make sure that that learning truly gets deeply embedded inside of them. And then, of course, the school can track and manage through a detailed platform and how they're doing. Yeah. So it's practical outcome-based learning. It makes it more efficient and effective. It gives access to learning on any device. It is available on mobile, as I know many members are based in the Asia Pacific area. Many students learn by mobile, so it's mobile compatible. But it builds in gamification. It motivates learners to encourage that engagement. It derives certificates of completion. There are 37 learning paths, as they call it, that a student can receive a certificate of completion in. And the platform allows for multinational teams to move through it with, again, various different language choices. Yeah, and get on the school side, a detailed amount of learning data. Now, some schools have even gone so far to look at Lobster Ink in creating their own micro courses and certifications, or even a CPD strategy of giving industry training outside the school to the employers. That can be done. It can be done in a branded environment. So you could put your logo on the learning space, your logo on the certification, and even upload your own content into the Lobster Ink LMS and use their data tools that will be linked to your content. So there's a lot of ways to use this. But like I said, it's very industry specific. It's industry accepted. It's been around for 20 years. And what I've seen in speaking to all my partner schools is that the way schools want to use it is not only giving it to a student learning online due to COVID-19. One of the biggest focuses has been support internships. One, in the preparation for internship, give them the tools they'll need to succeed at a faster pace when they're on their placement. Or two, unfortunately, even supplementing or replacing the internship experience because we just can't find the opportunities due to the COVID-19. Yeah. But some schools have taken even more innovative and even disruptive approaches. Some have said, what about admissions? Wouldn't it be nice to know the interests of a student before they come to us? And so instead of giving a brochure, which they thumb through and you have no idea what they like, give access to a library of online learning. And then you can log in and see, they have a certain interest in revenue, a certain interest in food and beverage, a certain front office. Then you follow up. We see that you're interested in front office. Did you know that our school offers a postgraduate program in ABC? So the amount of granular detail that can come by getting inside of the thoughts of a current student is quite fascinating. And then once again, you have the CPD concept of going out to the industry with turnkey content, which the industry before could never access unless they were at the very high corporate level, because those were typical Lobster Ink. So I'll send this out again, but to make it very clear, the biggest benefit to the ICE member schools is discount. You, as a partner school, automatically receive a 25% discount. Normally, it's 100 euros per license, per learner, per year. And that means 100 euros to access every single element of content on the platform, all videos, all LMS, etc. If you're an ICE member school, it's automatically 75 euros only per student per year. And then again, if you're interested in this customized approach, then it's again 75 euros per learner per year. In addition, there's some set of fees and there's minimum order volumes. But my honest recommendation is if you're interested in using this for your internships, for your online learning, or on a CPD level, use the generic option as there's no risk. There's no setup fee, there's no minimum order volume. You just create the strategy, you promote, and when you're ready, we provide the licenses for your learners to access Lobster Ink. Yeah. So that concludes that piece. I'm just gonna, as I talk, run through a little video to show you the platform. You won't be able to hear it because it's on YouTube, but I'll kind of walk you through it briefly. So if you would be looking at Lobster Ink online, they have an element called a learning path. Now, learning path is a collection of courses. It's Lobster Ink's own collection, which they feel links to the main area. Yeah. Area of learning. So it's bartending beyond the basics, or start well in hospitality. So when you're a member, as you see, you have an entire LMS. You'll be going through the various micro lessons. You'll be also able to take a theory assessment built into Lobster Ink. And then from a manager perspective, you'll be able to see all that data. As you see, it's perfectly accessible on a mobile device. And it also lets students access other areas of learning. And what I mean by that is when you use Lobster Ink and say, these courses fit my curriculum, it's required learning. What about bartending? If you don't offer bartending, the student can still access all of that. Lobster Ink is like a Netflix for hospitality education. So they may like to watch romance movies, but they can access every other movie as well, in a reference to Netflix, of course. So you say, this is required learning, but this is extra. And I really believe in that because we need to make sure every student is inspired to all areas of education, not just the areas of our curriculum. So again, with their access, they have unlimited views on all areas of Lobster Ink and the platform. Yeah. So I think that's been enough. You probably are all a little bit sick of me, but I think I'll open it up now for questions and we can have a nice little chat. Thank you very much for the time. Thank you, Craig, for establishing the partnership. Thank you, Jane, for supporting it. And I look forward to becoming a deeper, closer member and contributing member of the ICE in the future. Thank you.
John, can you see those questions there in the Q&A?
I do. So at the Q&A, yeah?
Yes. So if you just want to run those questions.
Okay, some of these I might also need your assistance on, Jane, but question number one is, can the survey and the results be done with the ICE members in parallel with the iGraduate survey? So from a Hosco perspective, I think we're really just talking about logistics. So if you ask the students to complete the iGraduate survey and at the same time also join Hosco, it's of course fine on our end. How you plan the Hosco introduction at each of your individual schools is up to you. We'll just then plan our virtual participation whenever you decide it's correct. Yeah. Jane, anything on that?
Yeah, I can jump in there, John, just to help out. In terms of reporting, the answer to that question is yes. How we envisage working this is that rather than having 2 periods where we connect with institutions to report back, we'll in fact combine it. So at the moment, we connect you either visiting you if circumstances allow, or this year, obviously, we'll be doing this all remotely. So we connect with each of the institutions. We provide the ICE-BSB results. As of 2021, that session will be slightly longer. It'll include ICE-BSB results, and alongside that, the alumni data provided by Hosco. And the value from the ICE perspective, and why we're so keen in doing this, is because at the moment you get your accreditation, which is actually the expert's opinion on where you are in terms of quality. As you know, as members, we then follow that up by saying, well, how you maintain your quality standards. How do we do that? Well, we do that through the ICE-BSB, but that's the current students' view on how you're performing. So you get 2 perspectives on the quality of your performance. And the ICE is really keen to expand the perspectives. And why we're very keen on partnering with Hosco is we need to look at also the alumni perspective, and basically for alumni to say, how is the institute performing in terms of quality, and really critically, are they delivering what it says on the tin? This is a degree that's designed to get you into the industry and then progress from there. Is that working? Is it actually doing what it says? So that's for the first time we can give a quality perspective from alumni, from graduates of your institutes, and that's really critical for us. So that when we give the feedback on an annual basis, we'll be saying, this is what your students say, this is what your alumni says, and overall, this is our opinion as to whether you're keeping on track and hopefully enhancing your quality. And just as we're doing now with the ICE-BSB results, we're giving you time series analysis. We'll do, as John said, we'll do the same with the alumni results, so that hopefully it encourage institutions to enhance their quality, enhance their performance in terms of feedback from their alumni as well as from their current students. So yes, it will be it will be combined with your feedback from your ICE-BSB in one sort of feedback session each year.
Thanks, Greg. The second question is, why is salary not benchmarked? This would be very interesting for students, academic leaders, and promotional benefits. Long time discussion. In fact, the entire time I've been at Hosco, we've always discussed, should we add salary or not? But the logistical reason why it's not benchmarked is because we don't collect it. We don't ask at any point what your current salary is in the industry when creating a Hosco profile or in any touch point on Hosco. So as I mentioned, we can only create these reports on what we currently have, and we don't have salary. Why we ourselves at Hosco have decided not to collect salary has been a bit of a controversial topic. Some people in the company want to do it, some people don't. But what we do believe is that there could be a middle point in collecting salary, but not making it public information. So clearly, we don't think it's fair or correct to have your salary visible to anyone who views your profile or any employer who views it. But on a private basis, if you are a student or alumni from a school, and we can sort of section off the profile to be certain elements are visible only to a school, and certain elements are then publicly visible on the network, that could be a solution. But right now, we haven't gone down that path. We focused more on the job, the position, the location, and what is new, and what you will see coming in a couple months is skills. So we have done some partnerships with groups I can't yet mention, but we're going to be mapping skills based on international standards, because we know that when this thing is done, there's going to be quick hiring. And it won't just be, do you have a bachelor, do you have a master's? What can you do for me right now? And how do I know you can do that? So in the future, employers will be able to search by skills and even badged skills, those digital badges representing the skills and the qualifications which that member did generate, and therefore, again, better matching to our employers. So right now, I'm sorry, but unfortunately, salary cannot be benchmarked because we simply don't have it on the Hosco template. And the third question here is, what would ranks as well as benchmarks be offered? I guess I need a bit of information there. What would ranks be defined as?
Yeah, currently it's benchmarked. So you'll be benchmarked, the institutions of the ICE will be benchmarked against the other institutions of the ICE. And it's because this this partnership between the ICE and Hosco is unique. So it is only through this partnership that we'll be looking at time series analysis of alumni and using that as a quality measure of quality metrics. It's only the members of the ICE that will be able to compare against. This doesn't happen externally. No one else is doing this. So currently, it'll be benchmarked. So institutions can be benchmarked against other institutions of the ICE, and that's part of the ethos of the ICE, that we will compare and contrast, and we will obviously share good practice, because the aim is not everyone will be the number one in every area, just as they're not in the ICBSB, but hopefully each of our members will excel in different areas, and so it'll be done on that basis again. So it'll be benchmarked rather than rankings for the foreseeable future. Of course, as the membership grows and the interest in this grows, we will keep sort of considering this and consider whether we can expand the data that we're providing to our members.
Very good. Very good. I guess I'll ask if there's any other questions, and then I would have a question to all of you, and maybe you can use a function of raise your hand or whatnot. But based on what I said about Lobster Ink, raise your hand if you feel that there is some way that content, that LMS, that way of learning could fit into your institutions. Because we're very new with this relationship, and that's been my core goal in the last 2 months, is to identify, is there actually an academic fit? So I'd be curious if you could just raise your hand if you think, yes, there is, or no, there isn't. Anouk says yes. And if you don't know how to raise your hand, I think, Jane, I think it's under functions, or it pops up.
Yeah, it'd be useful just to say.
So, Elise, if you can shoot me a message just to let me know what you see as an attendee, that would be great.
Yeah, and someone's also said in the chat, some form of press release or promo would be good from both parties when the results come out. We have already announced the general partnership. Jane, I think you can mention that on your side.
Yeah, that's been mentioned on the site. I can do a quick share of the screen. If you just give me a moment, I can jump on there.
Okay.
Has that got the ICE website showing up for you?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it does, yeah.
So if you go to our homepage, which is just the-ice.org, here we are, our global network, and then down to our business alliances. Within that page, you can see all of our 4 business alliances, but if you go down to Hosco, it's in alphabetical order. If you go down to Hosco, it'll tell you more about the company here. And then if you go down to this one here, it will actually take you to the Business Alliance page, which gives you all the information about the member benefits. And then an email address where you can actually get more information off John.
Yeah. And I think what we can do is after the VIPoE and maybe on the website, I can then give some virtual links on what I mentioned earlier about the differences in those subscription types. What you have as an ICE member, what you could have on a Hosco member regarding community, career alumni, data, and marketing, and then plus Lobster Ink information too. Okay. Right, so are there any other questions anybody has? You can simply drop that in the chat box.
I think from a, again, from an ICE perspective, obviously the initial sort of discussions with Hosco, with John, between John and myself, was to establish the benefits that we've just identified in terms of alumni. When we looked at Lobster Ink and including it to members, but it as John identified, it offers a tremendous resource to our members that's already used within the industry, and so I think it's hugely significant that members have got the access to the Lobster Ink resources, because by incorporating them in whatever way within their operations, they narrow the gap between academia and industry. And again, one of the things we're looking at within the ICE is that flexibility within programs, and flexibility, so not only what you deliver, but how you deliver it and how you use the information available is also a measure of quality. If you increase the flexibility, you increase the choice to students, that's also a measure of quality. It's also a quality indicator. And so I think, although we're not sort of at the moment putting a particular metric against this within our accreditations or within our reaccreditations, it will certainly be seen as a positive thing going forward for our members to demonstrate that they're using flexibility within their approaches to students. Because, you know, quite frankly, if this COVID crisis has shown us anything, it shows that the old system of one size fits all. There's 240 credits within this degree, and you study these credits and you study it in this way. Surely this crisis has shown that's just never ever going to work again. It didn't work particularly well in the past. It's never going to work in the future. We simply have to be flexible. We have to offer choice in whatever way we can. So I would encourage members to look at this, the resources available, and really consider sort of innovative ways of how they can incorporate them and use them within the programs.
Yeah, and it's an innovative way that I've found just so fascinating in talking to all the schools. And for everyone listening, if you would like a full demo to the platform, I can provide that for any ICE member. You can go in, take a look. But I can also give you a very detailed Excel of all the learning paths, of the learning outcomes, the hours, the duration, because I know you need that to fit into curriculum and look at the accreditation requirements, etc. But no, it's that creativity in how to use this. Again, that's what's almost surprised me when I started reaching out. I mean, the good thing we know is that Lobster Ink is absolutely the benchmark standard. 20 years been around, adopted by the biggest brands. And I know that there are a lot of new companies or new people coming out creating content here, there, and everywhere. But you have to look at what is accepted. And I think it's very dangerous to start saying, oh, we're going to take this online course. I mean, a good example is like Udemy. If you've looked at Udemy courses, they are not good quality. I mean, it's usually a guy with a PowerPoint. And if you give that to your students, you're going to do a disservice to your students. So I think the key is take the trusted provider, take the #1 company doing this, but then how you use it, there's so many different ways. Like I said, internships, solving that problem has been the biggest interest by far. But the area I get super excited about is CPD, because I've been on different webinars and different virtual conferences, and who is going to give the training to the hotels when this is getting better? Is it going to be like a generic institution or like American Hotel Lodging Association? Maybe. But who's going to deliver it? Who's going to facilitate it? This is where I think there's such a massive opportunity for schools to step in, create training arms backed by the brand of the school, but the content of Lobster Ink or their own, and get out fast to the industry. I was talking to one a school the other day who I know is actually talking about ICE membership, École Hôtelière Luxembourg, EHTL. There is no official training provider in Luxembourg for hospitality training. There is an association, the association has resources, but there's no group. What if EHTL became the training provider for the country of Luxembourg and they use Lobster Ink materials? What about if we look in, I think I saw Duzatani is here in Thailand. What if Duzatani could use turnkey Lobster Ink materials and bring it out to the brands? We already know Duzatani hotels themselves use Lobster Ink, but what about everybody else? So it's just that speed to market and the need to not have to make your own. Some schools have. I know Swiss Education Group has done a wonderful job in creating micro courses and certifications, and they are at that sophistication level to be able to do that. And I say bravo, but not every school can. And so if you can't, you have turnkey, industry accepted courses plus a turnkey LMS ready to go for students and for industry. That's again where I think it's so fascinating to see the direction education is going to go. And COVID has been the catalyst to do that, you know. Very good. Okay, we're getting close to the end. Jane, Craig, any other questions?
None from me. Is there anything, any last call from the attendees, or shall we?
No.
No.
But I can say I've answered a few of those questions that were there, including sharing that blog post.
Okay, that's great. Thanks, Jane.
For the blog post, so I've just shared that on there as well.
Yeah, and obviously that was regarding the initial partnership, but yes, we will be making as the results come out. It's the first time that the results this time next year the results will be used as part of the sort of quality enhancement, both monitoring and quality enhancement processes. So yes, we'll obviously be following it up across our now network, and I know Hosco will be doing the same to be promoting the partnership and the use of the partnership in this way. So yeah, absolutely, we'll be doing that.
Yeah, so from our end, we'll just be relying on you as leaders at your schools to help us get into the classroom, to get the message out there. So if that's through the iGraduate opportunity, great. If it's through a separate opportunity, great. We'll just work with you to find the right time, the right curriculum fit, etc. And when that's done, we'll give a virtual presentation to the students. And again, they'll have any option of joining Hosco. But again, it is an option. There is no mandate here. We don't want to mandate a student to join a network. They don't want to join. But I do believe that linking this to the idea of helping the school understand where their alumni are going to better craft the programs of the schools is a nice approach. And again, same idea with iGraduate. Help us benchmark your future by joining this network. But it's not optional. We cannot make it optional based on requirements that we have.
Okay.
No, sorry, it's not mandated, not optional. It's mandated.
It's not mandatory.
Mandated.
Yeah, we're with you, John.
Yeah, very good. Very good. Okay.
Okay, well, thanks very much, John. Well, thank you, John, for the presentation, for the insights into the Hosco partnership and the benefits from Lobster Ink. Thank you to our attendees for your questions and for finding the time to attend today. Hopefully that's been useful. We look forward to seeing this flourish over the coming year. Yeah.
Thank you, Craig. Thank you, Jane. Thank you, everybody. Best of luck to you. Stay safe, stay motivated, and we'll see you soon.